I'm Nathan Steele. This is my wife, Lacey, and we're the directors of Cultivate.
I thought you were going to hit me.
I'm not going to hit
Hello. Hey.
This is a serious...
Hey.
This is a serious video.
It's very serious. What's it about, Nathaniel?
Our story that is ongoing and never ending. We met at Bible school way back in 2002.
I remember very distinctly Nathan kind of slouching in the corner, kind of giving everybody his emo stink eye. I decided, hey, I should go introduce myself because I'm a polite person. And so I introduced myself to him, and he just kind of like grumbled, and we went on with life. And that's where it ended. No, not really.
No, we hung out. I mean, for over the next 2 years, we hung out, and
I want to clarify something. It's because there was 10 people in the dorm.
that's fine. But I took it anyways. No, we started liking each other. Except Lacey always felt bad for liking me because I wasn't good. I wasn't a good guy. And, no, and I mean, for me, it went all the way back. Like, I had an addiction to pornography and just a lot of history. I grew up with an abusive dad, and so I had my own emotional issues, hence the stink eye that I would give everyone. And, so yeah, but we had fun together. We hung out, had fun together, played cards, and we started liking each other, except for Lacey would feel guilty for liking me. Because she didn't... I wasn't a good influence.
Well, no, it's not like you influenced me. I basically was thinking, I am stuck in this small town with a few people, and I just need to leave it, and this thing is going to go away. And I heard through the grapevine that Nathan was desperately in love with me. And I... admit it. And I just was like... No, that's a no-go. So I remember over the summer, I wrote him an email and basically said, please don't contact me again. I think you will have a great life. Go ahead and live it. Bye-bye.
To which I interpreted, and as I read it, was, good luck. You could try harder and do better.
Right. So long story short.
I won.
Okay, well, I mean, you can see we're married now, so he did eventually win. But we ended up getting married after knowing each other about 3 years, and it was not rainbows and sunshine right off the bat. We definitely knew how to have fun together, but we also had very different personalities and very different backgrounds, which included a lot of unresolved issues that thankfully, you just pack into your suitcases and just move right into your marriage. We're into our first year, and everything had broken loose about Nathaniel's pornography addiction and my anger. The anger was in full force.
I honestly thought, like, after our first year of marriage, that Lacey was God's punishment for all of my addiction to pornography, and in high school...
Your loose living?
My loose living in high school. So I honestly, like I said, I grew up, my dad was abusive and yelled a lot, and so Lacey she yelled a lot. And so honestly, I just took it as, okay, this is my life. This is, like, one time, we were in an argument, and I said, you hurt my feelings. And she was like, how many times do I have to hurt them before they die? That's my pride and joy right
here. It was a joke.
Was it?
Yeah, so there was a lot of unresolved issues that we could not seem to get through. And on top of it all, Nathan has cystic fibrosis. And so this is an illness that is very consuming.
Cue timely cough.
Yeah, I know, right? very consuming in so many
Lord, yeah.
ways. Financially, time-wise, he has to do hours and hours of treatments every day.
Mentally, emotionally.
Right. And
yeah,
so
all the above.
we're constantly battling it on one front or another. And people say to me, they say, well, you knew you had it when you married him. And I mean, yeah, but you don't really know until you're in it, right? You don't really know what you're getting into.
You knew, you knew the phrase cystic fibrosis, but like you had...
I mean, I'd read a few wiki articles.
Which really gives you the experience. No, so there's just a lot there. And so after our second year of marriage, or in the midst thereof, I had a hospitalization. It was the first hospitalization we were together. We have to move in with my mom, which is always magical in your first year of marriage, living with your in-laws. And but it was during this time, it was so stressful. There's a lot of insurance complications, a lot of stuff like that, where I ended up how I dealt with or coped with stress was pornography, but this time I went to a strip club. We could either go into ministry and fake our relationship, basically, or take the time to deal with it. And we chose deal with it.
Right. And in the town we were living, we had moved back to Alaska by this point. There wasn't really any resources for us. So we actually, we had job opportunity and we were going to start, we really wanted to be there. And that's where we wanted to land. But we ended up leaving that community and moving about 6 hours away because we knew we could get counseling at this in this other place. And that was a huge sacrifice. One of the things is I didn't want to live in this community, but we ended up there for 8 years. And I'll tell you, it was the best thing that could have happened to us and for us. And the Lord, through the season brought us through a lot of things. And so
I mean, all of the things that, we walked through, like you said, losing a job. We walked through lots of counseling. We also walked through infertility there, where we ended up adopting our 2 girls.
Right.
We went into missions there. We, raised funds and went over to Ireland for 6 months.
We were put in position to be able to learn so many lessons and so many things that today are really instrumental in our growth and development just as people.
Yeah.
And so even though it was a sacrifice, God really used it and he brought restoration and health to our marriage. And I want to say that, man, the minute we got there, it was just like 3 months, we were off and running, but that is not the case.
No.
Our marriage struggled for
years.
Oh, long time. Because the fact of the matter is addictions take 2 things to break. Number 1, you got to break the habit. And number 2, you have to be willing to realize what's powering them. What is the thing underneath that's really driving them? And are you willing to deal with that issue?
What's the root issue behind the habit? And then building a new habit.
Right.
And so we did all of that in that 8 years. I mean, it wasn't, like she said, 3 months done. It was 8 years of both of us learning new things, like how to cope with anger, what to do in dealing with your own root issues behind anger, fear, anxiety, all of that.
Right.
So, I mean...
And simple communication.
Yeah.
How do you communicate in a marriage? How do you work through barriers that the enemy likes to throw up in between the 2 of you? And
learning... You're a talker, and I'm not. And how do you resolve you learning to stop talking and me learning to talk? I mean, so much.
So, yes. So, long story short, our marriage was a lot of hard work and trust and tears and pushing forward. And I'd like to say, man, if you just give it all you got within a few short months, you're going to be off and running to the races. But honestly, what it takes is an open heart before the Lord to say, God, what is it you want to show me? What is it you want to change in me? And be willing to let him do that, and so that you can see fruit in your marriage. And so that is a big part of our story, is our marriage and how the Lord was able to redeem it from a place of a lot of brokenness and hopelessness. And honestly, guys, circumstances in our life are very much the same. Nathan still has his disease. We still have a lot of circumstantial things that we are constantly having to look at and overcome on a daily basis. Yet at the same time, the Lord has honored our commitment to Him and each other by giving us a pretty amazing relationship. Does that mean we never fight? No, we fight all the time, but we know how to do it now.
Well,
right?
Instead of our fights lasting 6 months, they last...
Which was on you. I thought they were done that day, but then I'd find out 6 months later that they weren't.
No,
they weren't done.
No, but and that's absolutely true that we are still, I mean, it's not just like, okay, that 8-year season is done. We're still up against and pushing forward with these habits that want to pull us away. Right? That you want to slip into anger and I want to slip into isolation. And so it's that ongoing, and that's what makes our marriage healthy, is this ongoing battle to not give up. Say, nope, we're still going to fight and move forward.
And we've been married 15 years now.
Magical years.
Totally. And we're excited for what God's going to do next because He's been faithful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. And we are Nathaniel and Lacey Steele.
With Cultivate.
With Cultivate. And we want to encourage you to enjoy life by living connected.